Hello and welcome to HITC Sport, and finally, more than 4 months after the tournament should have finished, we now know every team who will be competing at Euro 2020 next summer in 2021. God, it's been a weird year. Scotland, Hungary, North Macedonia and Slovakia claimed the final 4 places via the Nations League playoffs last week, but what I'm going to do is look at the countries who haven't qualified. My name's James, at HITCJames on Twitter, and this is every Premier League club's best player definitely not going to the Euros next summer. And of course, I'm only looking at European players. I mean, it doesn't take a genius to work out that Mo Salah and Sergio Aguero won't be there. And yes, I know Neil Maupay probably won't get a France call-up, but at least he's got a chance on account of France qualifying. Arsenal, Sead Kolasinac. Some Mesut Ozil won't be there on account of retiring from international football, and neither will his bodyguard Sead Kolasinac. But at least Kolasinac actually had a decent chance of reaching the Euros. There was more chance of Oasis getting back together than Ozil playing for Germany again, or just playing football full stop. Kolasinac Bosnia and Herzegovina went into the playoffs earlier this year and faced Northern Ireland, where unfortunately for them they were beaten on penalties. But at least Kolasinac can be safe in the knowledge that it wasn't his fault, as he wasn't even on the pitch to take a spot kick. So the left back can enjoy his summer watching the Euros and blaming Ed Jetto and co for ruining his dreams. Aston Villa, CONOR HOURIHANE. Okay, we've got our first Irish player of many in this video, but sadly that's just the way it is. The Republic of Ireland didn't qualify like pretty much the rest of Europe, and since most Irish players play in England, quite a few are in the Premier League. CONOR HOURIHANE is number 1, a player who isn't even that important at Villa right now since the arrival of Ross Barkley. It's been a rough few months for HOURIHANE, but it could be worse. He could be Henry Lansbury, who didn't even get in the Villa Premier League squad and doesn't have a non-English great-grandparent to help him play international football. BRIGHTON, Aaron Connolly. It's back-to-back Republic of Ireland players, but that's mainly because Florian Andoni can't buy a game for the Seagulls. His and native Romania have failed to qualify for the Euros, but since he's in the stands while Aaron Connolly starts most of the games, it's the Python-sized striker who I'm going to go for. For all the jokes about the Irish, they've actually got some good young players coming through, and Aaron Connolly's one of them. A rapid striker and a niche finisher, Connolly could have made his career at Euro 2021, but instead he'll have to watch from home with the rest of his teammates. I don't think any of them are going to make it, to be honest with you. I mean, Davy Propper's the only one that's got an actual chance, unless Gareth Southgate goes rogue and recalls Danny Welbeck. Burnley, Johann BERG Gudmundsson. At the last Euros it was all about Iceland. This tiny nation had qualified for their first ever major tournament, and they weren't just going to make up the numbers. In fact, they were going to prove why they were suddenly the neutrals' favourites. I mean, they even knocked out England of the tournament, one of the most embarrassing days in the history of English football, and this is a team that conceded a goal to San Piss and Marino. But fast forward 4 years, and the joke's on you now Iceland, they didn't even qualify, which means Johann BERG Gudmundsson of Burnley will get the summer off, and get the chance to watch someone else embarrass England, screaming at the telly, "It could have been me!" Chelsea, Armando Broja. We had to go into the deep dark depths of the Chelsea squad to find someone who isn't going to the Euros, and out on loan they've got Albanian international Armando Broja, a man who's played for Albania 3 times, having been born in Slough. Crystal Palace, Luka MILIVOJEVIC. One thing we definitely won't be seeing at Euro 2020 is a trademark free kick from the Crystal Palace skipper Luka MILIVOJEVIC. That's because Serbia failed to qualify, losing on penalties to the mighty Scotland. But would things have been different if Milivojevic played against the Scots? I mean, I don't think I've ever seen him miss a penalty. But a positive COVID test meant he missed out, and Scotland got the win, with the nation still probably hungover from the celebrations. Everton, Seamus Coleman. Yep, we're back to the Irish, but this time it's Gylfi Sigurdsson's fault. I mean, if the Icelandic playmaker hadn't spent the past 12 months bang out of form, I'd probably have picked him. But despite Sigurdsson's glorious long-range screamers in years gone by, he's now spending most of his time firing shots deep into the finalist stands of Goodison, no doubt feeling the wrath of skipper Seamus Coleman. The Everton captain's also the Ireland captain and will miss the chance to lead his country out at a major tournament. Fulham, ALEKSANDAR Mitrovic. It was this man who cost Serbia and sent Scotland to the Euros. The next time Mitrovic heads north of the border, he'll never have to buy a pint again. It was his penalty that was saved by David Marshall and secured victory for the Tartan Army. Mitrovic is normally so reliable from the spot, but he's clearly lost his mojo. First he's being upstaged by the weakest Panenka ever by Ademola Lookman, then days later he's costing his entire country from 12 yards. Leeds United, Stuart Dallas. Northern Ireland also failed to qualify for the Euros, and while it was ecstasy for Scotland last Thursday, it was agony for the Northern Irish. They took Slovakia to extra time but were dead on the feet by about the 100th minute, and a defensive lapse from a usually reliable figure ensured that they wouldn't be going to Euro 2020. Spoiler alert, that lapse was not from Leeds United man Stuart Dallas. Leicester City, Johnny Evans. In fact, the mistake was from Jonny Evans of all people. I mean, it wasn't that big a mistake. A long ball deflected off his heel in at the path of the on-rushing Slovakia forward, and by the time Evans knew where he was, the ball was in the back of the net. So Leicester's Jonny Evans won't be there, but with the likes of Youri Tielemans and Timothy Castagne in their ranks, the Foxes may have a Euro 2020 winner this time next year. Liverpool Kostas Tsimikas. No, this isn't a list on Liverpool defenders who are actually fit. Christ, the way things are going, he might have broke his leg by the time I get this video up. But regardless, Greek fullback Kostas Tsimikas won't be going to the Euros, with Greece unable to qualify and recapture the magic of 2004. I mean, when you think about it, it's actual madness that they won the trophy back in the day. But in 2020, Tsimikas is the only eligible Liverpool defender who won't be going to the Euros, even if he is the only one fit enough to kick a football right now. Manchester City, ARIJANET MURIC. Just like with Chelsea, we've had to go deep into the City squad to find someone who can't go to the Euros, and now we're all knowing they've got Kosovo #1 MURIC. You know, the guy that was in goal both times they played England last year and had to pick the ball out of his net a combined 9 times. Aye, that's him. Kosovo were a growing nation, but Euro 2020 probably came a little too soon for them, even if it was delayed by a year. Man United, GALBRAITH. Yet again we're going deep into the squad, mainly because Serbia's Nemanja Matic retired from international football earlier in the year. Why did you have to do that, Nemanja? Now I've got to pretend I know about this Northern Irish kid. GALBRAITH is part of the Man United reserves and has actually got 1 cap for his country, but won't be adding to his tally at Euro 2020. Newcastle United, Jamal Lewis. Yet again it's someone from Northern Ireland, but is Jamal Lewis actually featured in the playoff defeat? He's Newcastle's best player not going to the Euros, even if his competition isn't that stiff. I mean, it's between him, Kieran Clark and Jeff Hendrick. It's hardly Ballon d'Or levels of quality. Kieran Clark's injured 24/7 and Jeff Hendrick's been so bad in recent weeks he probably wishes he was injured. Sheffield United, BERG. Seriously, I was certain that Norway qualified for the Euros, but no, they were beaten by Serbia in the playoffs earlier in the year, meaning the likes of Erling Haaland and Martin Odegaard won't be at Euro 2020. And neither will Sander Berge, a player I still can't believe is the Sheffield United of all clubs. This is a guy that should be playing European football, not stinking up the Premier League relegation places. Southampton, Shane Long. Sorry again Ireland fans, the end of this video is going to be rough. Shane Long's probably the best player the Saints have got that doesn't have a chance of going to Euro 2020, which doesn't really say much considering he hasn't scored for his country since 2016. Ireland don't really do goals, do they? It's almost as if someone needs to remind them of what they actually have to do to win a football match. Tottenham, Matt Doherty. Christ, the bad times are continuing, as Matt Doherty is Tottenham's best player not going to the Euros. If it's any consolation, Matt, I doubt Joe Hart and Dele are either. West Brom, Callum Robinson. It's a hat-trick. Callum Robinson makes it 3 Republic of Ireland players in a row, but there's literally no one else I can pick. Branislav Ivanovic packed in playing for Serbia years ago, while even the Welsh qualified. That's good news for Hal Robson-Kanu, who might get another chance to score another wonder goal and add another few years to his stuttering club career. West Ham United, Darren Randolph. Oh, for goodness sake, 4 in a row. 4. I promise Wolves I haven't got an Irish player despite having the opportunity to pick one. Back to Darren Randolph, the Ireland #1 and West Ham backer who's probably sick to bits. First Ireland don't qualify, and now he's going to have to spend the rest of the season behind Lukas Fabianski, listen to him in training go on and on about Poland going to the Euros. Get over it, Lukas, you aren't even Poland's #1. It's like Florian Tovan showing off his World Cup winners medal despite not even playing in Russia. Wolves, Matija Sarkic. As soon as Portugal qualified, this video became difficult. It became a toss-up between Montenegro goalkeeper Matija Sarkic and Irish midfielder CONOR, and I couldn't do it to the Irish, so I've gone with Sarkic, another European player who was actually born on English shores. The Grimsby native has played for the country of his father's birth once and is currently on loan at Ligue 1 Shrewsbury. I mean, Montenegro didn't even come close to qualifying. Christ, this was a struggle. So there we go, that's every Premier League club's best player definitely not going to the Euros next summer. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. As always, don't forget to like, share and subscribe to HITC Sport, and until next time, we'll see you around.